Hello, everyone, and good evening. Marcus C. Williams here with Marcus Made in America. So, I will do my best not to hurt anybody or offend them, but we might should call this NR set. What is it? NRC 17 or is it NR 17? How do you say
I
it?
think it's NC 17.
NC 17. Can we flash a rating like that on the screen? We should do that now.
You
I don't
gotta
think
tell me these things
I
ahead of time,
I
Marcus.
I am joking. I am joking. So, but anyway, no, seriously. Oh, see, they tried to block us off because anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in. We got a real great episode going for you, and I hope you're ready because we're gonna jump right in. Over the last week, we've had a lot of stuff going on, and I want to tell everybody out there right now in America that's very concerned with everything that's going on in America right now and across the world. Don't give up faith. Don't give up faith in yourself. Don't give up faith in your fellow man. Don't give up faith that we can restore our country and we can make everything better than the way that it is going right now. Because the direction that we are going, we are continuing to see civil liberties stripped from us on a daily basis. We continue to see issues all across the world with wars across the world, a world away, that are impacting us. We see issues with trade that's impacting us. We see all types of other things. We have inflation. We have food issues because the crops are all burnt up or they're not able to grow or things like this, or the government's is paying them actively to not grow crops. So we've got a lot of stuff going on right now. And we've got the big man, Bill Gates, newly single, so he wants to block out the sun. That's a real thing. You can look it up. And he's invested highly in nuclear energy and nuclear power at the time when we're all looking into different things like solar. But he wants to block out the sun. So you guys got to really be aware of what we see going on in America and all across the world, because everything that's going on today is affecting us. But I want to let you guys know, don't give up hope. Don't give up faith. We can keep going forward and we can make things better than they are right now. We just have to focus, go out, take action, and stand up. We must stand up and speak up. And remember, never shut up, because we have to do that now. We have to speak up for our rights. We have to speak up for what we believe in. We have to speak up for our nation. Our national security is at risk every day. We've got issues with China coming over and stealing all types of information from our big companies and our small companies, and American data privacy just doesn't exist anymore. It's non existent. We've got entities that are coming over from other countries like Russia and pervading our systems that have everything function from meat to, well, the Chinese did the meat issue, but with the Russians, the oil and other stuff that we have issues with, that they've hacked and they've stolen information. But none more nefarious or more serious than the Chinese. The Chinese have, as reported the other day, they have collected information on every single American citizen. Now, I just want you to think about that. That means they have your data, your neighbor's data, your cousin's data, your mother's data, the person 3 houses down that you don't even know who they are because you only see them one Sunday a month, 3 weeks in a year. Okay, it's not remotely something that people should overlook. Think about it. They've got every single person's data that you've ever met. That's a large wealth of data and supply that they can pull from. They know things about you, like where you go, where you've been, where you go at nighttime when you go to sleep. You sleep on the left side of the bed or you sleep on the right side of the bed. Now, I don't know if you feel like things like this are okay. I mean, it's really, 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 really concerning because they have those type of sensors now. You've got security cameras in your house. You got cameras and microphones on your phone. You've got probably about 15 different Chinese apps on your phone right now, all spying on you, putting keyloggers in and everything like that, so that they a keylogger, if you don't know what a keylogger is, basically when you type stuff in, it basically writes down everything that you type in to search. So that's really something that people should consider sometimes when they're actually browsing the internet and they're clearing their cookies and they're going through, or they're using some sort of antivirus software and stuff like that. It- so we got to make sure that we do our best to stay away from those type of things. Like we had the issue with TikTok. We were going to get rid of TikTok and ban them from the US, and then Biden got all sweet on them and he was like, "No, we're just going to monitor them and see what they're doing." Except there's already been a lawsuit against them, and the people won against them using children's data. They're taking the children's data. Why do they want the children's data? The more data that you collect, the more data that you have on one person, the more data points you have, the more likely you can predict exactly what they're going to do and exactly how they're going to move. And that's very concerning because that's like the hand of God. Now, let me tell you one thing where we did not have enough data, and that is Afghanistan. So, in Afghanistan right now, the proud nation of Afghanistan, we've got a country in the throes of a civil war that America has been involved in for 20 years. For 20 years, people, we've been over in Afghanistan. And what have we got from it except pain, sorrow, and grief? And now, all of these sudden, not only are we pulling out, which isn't a bad thing, don't get it twisted, because we really shouldn't be over there to begin with. That's a separate conversation, which we'll have, but it's not a bad thing. But the way that it was done is extremely not put together, to say it gently. Like I mean, the way that they put it together is okay. It's outright ridiculous, to be honest. So we've got taking over the streets, and they've took over 2/3 of the country last week. Now we're up to almost 100%. They've taken over the capital of Kabul. They're even in the presidential palace. In the presidential palace, sitting at the desk, one of the guys there, very interesting dude. He was like, "Yeah, I was in Guantanamo Bay for 8 years. 8 years. 8 years. Could you imagine being in a foreign prison off site for 8 years? How much hatred, animosity, anger, malice, and miscontent would you have after 8 years of languishing in a foreign prison that isn't even in the territory of the people who captured you? Well, technically, Guantanamo Bay is in our territory. We do own the land free and clear. And I wish Cuba fucking would give it a try. Okay. And they know better. Anyway, really disappointed with Cuba over there too. We're not talking about them today, but that's another episode. Um, so as far as we've got things going on in Afghanistan, we got this guy. He's the secretary of what is he the secretary of? Secretary of the of not defense, the secretary of state, Anthony Blinken. We've got an Anthony Blinken. You got an Anthony Blinken up there? There he goes. Blinken looks like he's been thinking. Every time I see him get on the camera, I wonder what he's thinking because he says some more crazy stuff. What concerns me about Mr. Blinken is this. I think he has no clue what the hell's going on. And not like a bad thing where, like people don't know what's going on and it's their job to know what's going on and it's bad that they don't know what's going on. I think that the way that this man looks to me on the television every time I see him is like he just has tried to do everything that he's needed to do, and like the powers that be just will not let him do anything except stupid dumb stuff. And it's terrible, because like this is one of the highest ranking officials that we have on statecraft and state affairs. Like I mean so I mean it's just interesting because then we've got Secretary of Defense Lloyd. Do we have Secretary of Defense Lloyd? So we've got Secretary of Defense Lloyd, this guy. I'm not even able to start with him. I get very concerned when I see former generals forcing mandates on the whole army. Now, this is, well, the whole military. Now, hold on. Hold on. Yes, I said mandates, but guess what? I'm not even talking about the vaccine. How about that? I'm not talking about it. The mandates that I'm talking about are basically sensitivity training, okay, and anti-racist stuff. And don't forget the anti-domestic terrorism. You're not able to believe that we need better election security or integrity, or have your own thoughts outside of what we tell you to do, because we know what's best for you. And if you say anything against us, we will clamp down on you like a mighty hand from the sky above. So this is what this guy is doing. He's the defense secretary, and he's declared a war on the Department of Defense. And it's not a fiscal war, because God knows that we need fiscal reform in the Department of Defense. It's just ridiculous there, the spending that they will buy a gold-plated hammer that never even existed for $32,000, and it'll just show up on a receipt somewhere in a warehouse, and nobody will ever know what happened to that money and why that item didn't get received. Okay, so spending is a serious issue in the Department of Defense. I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, I don't like the Department of Defense. I don't want them to have so much money for the military. No, I want them to have that money for the military, because I know America has pissed off many places in the world. And unlike America, other places in the world don't have short memories. Okay. And if you think that this issue in Afghanistan is going to be something that's short lived, understand the guy that did time in Guantanamo Bay for 8 years, 8 freaking years. Like, I just, in my head, in my boldest of dreams, in my most powerful of thoughts, I would never want to even think about what languishing in a prison, which is squalid, has terrible food, is for terrorists, would be like. I just in general feel like prison camps for terrorists on foreign soil, well, technically it's American soil, but on foreign lands under American soil, we'll say it like that, wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good. I'd say they're probably about second to a CIA black site that's offshore. I mean, let's be honest here. Afghanistan was a war that we never really should have been in. Afghanistan was a war that was very poorly executed. And Afghanistan was a war that we showed that we don't know anything about gosh darn Afghanistan. Can we be for real? How are we at war with goat herders, predominantly goat herders? This is not a racist thing or anything like that. It's not a judgmental thing. They're goat herders by trade, okay? Some are homemakers, okay? But the majority of them are uneducated, because they don't really have schools out there like that. And if they do, most of them aren't close to most of the people, because most people still live in tribal lands. So if you're talking to me and I'm not responding, I'm sorry. I was not looking because the camera's focusing a little bit of a different direction. Let me just see what you guys are talking about down there. All right, Isaac. Thanks, brother. Okay, so we've got a whole issue with Afghanistan because we don't know about Afghanistan, and that's pretty much it. So back in the 1800s, the British went in there and they're like, this is ours now. And the Taliban, and I forget who else was there at the time, the Rilzier or whoever was there. Let me not misquote the sectional groups there, but they're pretty tribal, and they're broken up into tribal patterns predominantly. All we've done is go over there and teach them that they need to confederate and consolidate power. Like, that's the lesson that they got from all of this, that they need an overarching central government. All we did was push them to modernize and move forward. Freaking 30, 40 years. They weren't concerned about anything. Well, since we were there for 20, call it 50. So I mean, they weren't caring about anybody over here, man. They weren't out farming their land, raising their goats, taking care of their kids like, man, you know what? Fuck that America. They're all the way over in America, and America, fuck them. No, man. Excuse my language. Can I? Oh, I've been working on my best not to curse, but I'm just saying what they would say. So excuse me there. But anyway, so nobody was doing that. And if they were, it was probably because of the issue that we had over there with Russia, where we were funding Al Qaeda and the Taliban to go after Russia when they were in there during the communist period during the Cold War. I mean, this is the history of what's really going on, and I wish that people would understand that when it comes to Afghanistan, they're basically tribal by nature. Okay, and they don't want a democracy. They don't want people to come from other countries to liberate them. They want peace. They don't even really care for prosperity. Not that any man is adverse from prosperity. That's not a real thing. Everybody wants to be prosperous, but that's not like a key thing for them. That their main thing is just to live. So, considering that that's one of their big concerns, you're telling them that you're going to what? Kill them? That's all they got. And if you want to go fight them over a dirt dust patch with a little bit of grass, I mean, some of the places over there are really nice and lush for farmland. And they do grow a lot of opium over there. So let's not forget and neglect the opium. We got to talk about the opium because that is a large source of revenue. I wonder where all the opium has been going. It's an amazing thing that over these last couple of years, there have been massive, massive, massive influx of opium. I wonder if any of that opium that was coming from that country in specific came over to America and ended up in all of these opioid drugs. But I'm just asking questions right now that other people aren't asking that they probably really should be asking. Let me not ask any questions that are too serious of these drug companies. They might feel some type of way. I don't really care if they feel some type of way. All I want them to do is start their act and act a little bit better and clean up the way that they do business and the way that they treat people and actually start coming up with some cures and some solutions instead of giving people palliative care and preventative maintenance only to continue their conditions so that they can continue to profit off of this pain and suffering of the people of the United States of America. So I really do wonder if any of those opioids have ties to the opium that's been coming out of Afghanistan for the last 20 years. Okay? That's something that I think is very serious and really should use some introspection in. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We really have to think and ask ourselves what were the reasons that we were over there in the first place? We were over there to allegedly go after Al Qaeda terrorists who bombed us, but wait, they were from Saudi Arabia. But wait, we got to shut down Afghanistan. And where else did we shut down? The whole Middle East, basically.
Yeah. We were in
Yeah.
Iraq
Yeah.
for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went into Libya. Under this was also under Obama. I mean, not that I'm taking shots at Obama, but I'm just saying it happened under Obama, and it happened under the cover of night. One day we were just like, "Fuck you, Gaddafi, you're dead." Excuse my language, but you're dead. Bang. Just so happened that this happened after Goldman Sachs lost a few $1 billion of Gaddafi's money, and he was like he was about to start cutting off heads if he didn't get his money back because he told them to put it into low risk investments and they put it into high risk investments. He wasn't feeling that very much at all. But if you lost $1 billion of my money, I wouldn't even be telling you that I'm coming for you. That should be without a question. You know what's going to happen if you lost that much money. And I told you to do one thing and you did a complete another of your own volition. But they said, before you come to get us, we're going to get you. And that's what happened. And it's unfortunate because we've been in the Middle East in the middle of the sand for how long? What have our officers and what have our soldiers on the ground and what have all of our servicemen and women gotten out of this? Headache, pain, suffering, some camaraderie. That's important. I do believe many got skills and stuff like that. I think that's important too to recognize. But friends dying, um, wounds that will never heal, missing limbs, seeing your friends get blown up. And I know these things might sound a little graphic, but I know people that have witnessed these type of things, and a lot of people have family or friends or have been in the military themselves and witnessed these type of things. Fortunately, all of our military personnel do not have to witness these type of terrible things, but some of them do. And just think about how that affects you mentally. Now, think about this: with all of the hardships and issues that you'd have to go through over there, and then you get nothing, pretty much. I mean, you get a pension, you get some stuff like that after years and years you'll receive substandard treatment because they need to actually treat our veterans better, but don't even get me started on that. I mean, they need to treat our service people better to begin with by supplying them with better weaponry, with more updated armor and updated ammunition so that they're better able to execute the tasks on the ground that they have. I know a lot of things are going to UAVs. um, but the fact of the matter is that they still need guns. Look at this. A whole bunch of country farmers pretty much came in and overtook the most powerful military in the world. Scary thought. With weapons from the 1940s, from the before the Cold War. Like, I mean, this is like insanity. They chased us out of Afghanistan, just like they chased the British out. And what was it? Ooh, oh my goodness. The British lost like 5,000 people that were soldiers. They lost like 5,000 soldiers and like 12,000 actual non combatant Britonians or Englishmen, however you say that, whichever you'd prefer at the time. I don't know.
I think Englishmen probably more than Bretonians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one too many animes. um, but yeah, no, I mean, like, one dude and a horse came out of Afghanistan and the horse died. I mean, if we didn't learn the lesson there, we should have learned the lesson from Russia going in there. I mean, let's be honest. We were never going to hold there. And to do what needed to be done to actually win a war in Afghanistan is more than most people could stomach. If you really know about war and you really love war, majority of the time you're going to say that you would prefer that there is no war because you know how truly gruesome and at what high a cost it can be. It's just very disappointing that we've had to lose so much life that will never come back, have so much pain and so much suffering. And they weren't even able to take territory in Afghanistan and divvy it up between our soldiers. Like, our soldiers deserve the spoils of the wars that they are fighting in. If you're sending them to a foreign land, they deserve spoils of war. Why are you not treating them the way that they deserve? We didn't go over there and we didn't colonize Afghanistan. We didn't annex Afghanistan. Why were we over there? What was the plan there to begin with? We're going to dismantle the network so Al Qaeda could never work. How? How, man? You sound stupid. Okay, excuse me. But you'd have to really legitimately take out everybody there completely in order to do that. You'd have to inflict such grievous harm that would be known on no other scale other than that of what happened in Japan. Okay, that would be the only thing comparable in order to actually win a war and overtake Afghanistan, and we would have to colonize and incorporate it into the greater United States of America. Same thing with Libya. Why are we there? Okay, same thing with Iraq. No, man, stop sending our men and women overseas to go to other lands to fight for other people's freedoms and other people's things and other people's dirt. I mean, we got our own dirt over here. You got some dirt in your yard, Austin?
Oh yeah, we got dirt.
I mean, like, unless we're gaining some actual territory, we should not be sending troops overseas. Period. Okay, unless they're going to completely eradicate something. Okay, like, we should just not be sending troops overseas unless we're going to actually be serious. Hold on, somebody's saying something. Let's see what we got. the Taliban are going to attack America because they are a terrorist country now. Mention this. All right. So yep. Thank you very much, Vicky. I appreciate that also. Um, yeah. So this is interesting. Is somebody was just saying how the Taliban is a terrorist group, and now they're making the whole country terrorist. So I don't know that I would say that per se, but I'd say the tens of thousands of people that the Americans had imprisoned over there are not going to be happy now that they're released. You think that they're not mad that they're not going to join up with the other people that hate us? I hear the Taliban on the TV talking about, oh, they'll work with the US, we'll play nice and all of this and all of that. I mean, listen, it sounds good. And I really truly hope that the Taliban do work with the United States in a positive way. But they already do have the ear of China and the ear of Russia. And they're talking to them directly without the aid of Pakistan, which Pakistan used to be the one who would be the in between of Afghanistan and the other countries because they're so diverse and so sparsely populated, and the intelligence on them wasn't that good, and this and that, and all these other reasons. So now Pakistan kind of feels frozen out in the cold because nobody will deal with Pakistan. Now, I'm not no means to laugh at Pakistan, but the fact is that's kind of cold blooded. Afghans said that we're going to run our own stuff later for Pakistan. We don't need you. Okay. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. Could not be mad at that. But the fact is that now I wonder how Pakistan's going to react because now they're feeling all lonely and alone and less important. And Pakistan always has to feel important. I'm not sure why. They're already very big and for their all intents and purposes, pretty powerful themselves. I mean, it'd be interesting to see them just work and build out their own nation and their own country to be one of the more, I guess, would you say, advanced nations as far as literature and prosperity go in the region. I mean, I don't know, man. But Pakistan really only knows so much fighting that they don't really know much of any other way. And plus they are in like a real hot zone anyway. Um let's see. Yeah, you're right. If we were gonna do something, we would have to go out and destroy the Taliban completely. But the fact of the matter is like I said, nobody has the stomach for that level of warfare. Congress definitely doesn't. And it would have had to been something so terrible it could only be rivaled by the nuclear blast in Japan. And that's just something that people aren't able to commit to. Like, I'm not saying that it would be nuclear strikes, but I'm just saying the amount of damage inflicted would have to be so great as that they would never stand up against us again. Okay. Like, we're talking a complete scorched earth campaign. Okay. Like, no blade of grass standing, nothing that makes a shadow. So nobody is really ready for that level of war, especially if we're not going to commit to taking the territory. Makes no sense. We shouldn't have been there. We shouldn't have been there. And if we were going to be there, we should have done it right. Completely eradicated our opponent. No offense. This isn't to insult anybody over there that's members of the Taliban. I'm just saying, you guys, war yourself. You know how you get down. You guys are pretty good at what you do. Okay, honestly, but the fact of the matter is that if we were going to actually do a war, we would have had to come way harder than what we did, and you know it, and you're over there laughing at us right now, and that's insulting. Honestly, I'm insulted for you. You kind of deserved a better opponent than what we actually served you while we were over there. That was a disgrace to you as a formidable adversary. Okay, which we made you more of a formidable adversary than you should have because we took you way too lightly. Well, not me personally. I don't take you lightly. I study history. I think you guys have very interesting quirks and ways that you do things, but it shouldn't have happened the way that it happened. But going forward, I want you guys to remember to subscribe and like the We the People podcast network. Okay, follow. Also follow me on my Facebook. You can check out my political Facebook, Marcus C. Williams, or you can follow me on my personal Facebook, Marcus Williams. You'll find me. And definitely, if you like what I'm saying, if you like the topics I'm talking about here, please go donate to my campaign at marcusforrochester.com. That's MARCUS number 4 rochester.com. Okay, the actual number 4, or you could type in FOR. Anyway, I'm out here working hard to preserve values and morals and increase the stability of the small burg that I'm in that's called Rochester. I'm trying to make sure that in Rochester we're able to actually have some freedoms and liberties left in government and have a government that actually runs halfway efficiently, at least. I mean, a government that doesn't like back down to overreach from the federal government and the state government, but also at the same time is able to control their spending. Because Lord knows, in my city, I don't know what they do with all the money, and nobody really does. So please donate to my campaign. I've got a lot of work to do in Rochester. We've got a whole bunch of violence. We're halfway one of the worst cities in the whole country. We're above Chicago right now for murder rates. So per capita, it's ridiculous. I'm working hard here. So please donate to my campaign on marcusforrochester.com. But that being said, freedoms and liberties are extremely important. Freedom and liberties are extremely important. Oh, Michael, you're a veteran. You used to be a CB in the Navy. That's awesome. Awesome. And you live in Rochester. Fantastic, brother. That does says Michael and not Michelle, right?
Yeah, that's Michael.
Okay. I'm all the way back here. It's difficult to see. All right. So anyway, I've done that before. So sometimes I switch letters around in Michael and Michelle. So I wanted to make sure. Man, what can I say? The protests all across the world. Thank you, Michael. Got you. The protests all across the world about vaccine passports, about shutting down businesses, about enforcing mandates which force everybody to get vaccinated are off the chain all across the world. It's really cool. Thank you, Mike the Man. Gotcha. Now every time he comes on, we have to credit him as Mike the Man.
Got it.
All right. So we've just got so much stuff going on with the protests all across the world right now. Australia is having all types of lockdowns and stuff, some of the harshest anywhere in the world. Do you know, Austin, that they can't go more than 5 kilometers from their house right now in many parts of there? 5 kilometers. What is 5 kilometers even?
It's about like 3 miles.
It's about 3 miles.
About 3 miles.
About 3 miles. That's about a walk to 2 stores. How many stores do you think are in your neighborhood 3 miles away?
I live in the suburbs, so that's like
Oh no,
like one
do you know
store.
that the majority of the country down there is pretty much suburbs? Could you imagine?
That sounds all right.
It's beautiful out there.
Oh
when
yeah,
it's not on fire or being taken over by spiders or anything like that. Have you seen the videos that they have?
Oh, it's insanity.
It's insanity, man. Listen, more power to anybody that lives in Australia. Shout out to Australia. Stay strong. Okay, you can do it. You can get through it. I wish that I could do more to support you guys in your time of need, because your government is gone way too far. They're doing way too much. And I perish the thought that we get that far in America. I rebuke that. Okay. In the name of all that is holy, in the name of the Lord, I rebuke that what is happening in Australia comes this way. It's just so I feel for you guys. So over there, they used to have it where they could go more than that, but now you can only go about 3 miles. That's crazy. And on top of that, you used to go visit your friend, your special friend, you know. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mike the man.
Who's special friend?
Oh, you know, sometimes do you have a special friend yourself? I don't know. I'm asking too many personal questions. But if you did
What do you
have a
mean by
special
special?
friend or special friends, you know, sometimes people have more than one special friend or special friends, you could go visit those individuals as being a single individual. So now you can only visit one person and they have to be within that 3-mile radius and they have to be registered. Yes, that's right. You and your friend must be registered in order to visit and communicate and be together. The government of Australia wants to know where you are and they want to know who you're with. And that is definitely coming this way towards America with these vaccine passports. So please, everybody, this is your warning call. Wake up and pay attention and stand up. So it's crazy because they have like the queues at stores down there are crazy. And if you're trying to order something online, forget about it because they just got so many people that are locked up in their houses. I've seen this going on across the country right now. Many places are queuing up again. They're queuing up again. But they told us after 70% they wouldn't do that anymore. Madness. Oh, I'm not supposed to whisper too much. I don't get close enough when I whisper. Madness. Anyway, so it's just really, really crazy what's going on in Australia right now. And get this, the premier down there said on the TV that it's a war. It's a war. It's a war. Those seem like very deliberate words. Those seem like you really mean what you're saying. That seems like very choice. And then they're saying in Australia, soon you won't be able to, what do you call it? To quarantine in your house. You'll have to be put in specialized facilities that they built that are good for hundreds or thousands of beds. I'm sorry. What was that? You're going to snatch people out of their houses and put them in camps? Come again? What? Question mark? And this is a real thing in a real civilized, well, civilized is up to your definition, in a real westernized nation. It's one of the weird nations. It's the westernized, what, how do you say the weird? What is it? The weird Western in, what is it? Westernized.
I don't think I've heard this one.
You haven't?
No.
It's like westernized, industrial, educated, rich, democratic nations.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I just spelled it wrong, but anyway.
Yeah, no, all the letters were there.
They were there. They were there. So it's like it's got this dream of independence and freedom and stuff like that. But where is it? It's being stripped away. Don't think that they won't come for it in America. Like, don't think that for a second. We're seeing it go on right now. And I think that my concern is mostly for people who are already vaccinated. Okay. And this is the thing, right? A lot of people believe very firmly in the vaccine, but they think that anybody that speaks up against the way that they're instituting these things is against vaccination. And that's just not right. Just because somebody believes that people should have their individual liberties and freedoms not to take a vaccine for a disease that has a 99.9% survival rate does not mean that they're anti-vaccine. I think that it's up to everybody to make their own choices. But here's the deal. When you are seeing them continue to overreach, if you are a vaccinated individual, you need to be standing up and saying no the loudest, saying no, this is wrong. We're not going to stand for this because you're vaccinated, because you've been listening to what they've said. You've been doing everything that they said. And it's crazy because what we see now is the new normal is tyranny. Tyranny is the new normal. That's what's going on right now. And that's crazy and insane because they're stripping away your rights and your liberties if you're a vaccinated person and a vaccinated individual, just think about this. Remember they told you, they said if you get the vaccine, you get the 2 shots or you get the one Johnson and Johnson, then we'll give you all your rights back. Well, you should have been questioning that at the time, which isn't to say that you don't have a choice on whether to get it or not. It's the fact that if you don't ask questions about your rights and your liberties, even if you agree with something that somebody's doing, you're missing everything that our government is about, and especially the people in power, which is not necessarily the government. It could just be rich people, but they'll use any means that they can, okay, to cede more power and control from the people to themselves. And that's just normal. Like, you can't even really be mad at that, but you have to be cognitive and you have to be aware, okay? You have to understand that it's not for us, it's for them. And this is the part that we have to remember, okay? When something like this happens, they said, "Hey, if you get the vaccine, you can go back outside." First of all, that sounds insane. We're not going to talk about it, but we're going to move forward. That should have been the first question, honestly. But then they tell you you won't have to wear a mask. Okay, now they're telling you you have to wear a mask, and now they're telling you you have to get another shot. Are you not asking questions yet? Are you not concerned about your liberties and freedoms, that they think that they can do whatever that they want? Okay. Yes, you're vaccinated and you're scared and terrified of them shutting everything down again. Why? They promised you. They promised you when it was 70% everything would be okay. And it is. It really is. But they'll talk about the infection rate, but they don't talk about the hospitalization rate anymore. Remember, everything used to be about the hospitalization rate. Okay. Which made sense at the time because there were a lot of people who weren't hospitalized. And the thing is, today, nobody's really getting hospitalized. And if you are, there are so many different treatments for COVID that you get in there and you get out in like 2 to 5 days. And that's amazing, honestly. That is a testament to the way that the vaccine has gone through society, the way that the antibodies have the antibody science has gone bananas and just been out there kicking butt and kicking COVID in the hindquarters. It's amazing that we have so many other treatments to treat it right now, that people who are vaccinated and unvaccinated can get out of the hospital in less than 2 to 5 days. Well, we got a lot of action going on here. What we got? Our healthcare workers. Yes, I know. I'm coming. I'm getting there. I did not forget about that. You know, I got to talk about that. That's very important to me. Okay, I got you, Vicky. What you got? Oh, awesome. Mike the Man has a degree in biological technology. Oh my goodness. Do you know how much I love biological technology? I love it. Like, I was originally going to go to school for nanobiology. So, Mike, you're a man after my own heart. Okay. I love it. So, we've got a serious issue right now. And somebody else just brought it up. And I'm getting to it with the hospitals in New York, the healthcare workers. But so they told you that you would be able to get all your freedoms back. Now they're trying to restrict them again. And now they're telling you that you have to get a third booster shot. Now, I understand, even if you are very, very firm on the vaccine and everything like that, you must understand, when I am talking to you, it is not about the vaccine. It is about gross government overreach. Okay. It's got nothing to do with the vaccine. It's about government overreach. They're using the vaccine as a tool to extend their reach, and that is problematic. Not taking the vaccine, that's not the problematic part. Them using it as an excuse to extend their reach and limit your freedoms and your ability to be mobile and move around, and forcing all types of craziness on you after they told you that they would not. They are not holding up to their end of the deal. They are not holding up their end of their bargain. And their excuse is that they have science that just changed magically. I don't know that science has changed so many times in the history of ever. Austin, have you ever seen science change so frequently?
I don't think so.
See, now that it's very interesting, because Either this is some sort of a super bug that the world has never seen before that doesn't act in any way, shape, or form like anything else does, in which they need to stop you from going outside at nighttime. Okay? Okay? They need you to stop going outside at nighttime, people. Okay, but you're vaccinated. Please wake up. Please wake up. This is government overreach. This is not about whether or not the vaccine is good for you. This has nothing to do with that. They're trying to see what they can get you to do and how they can encourage you to give away more of your rights and freedoms. It's very, very, very disappointing. Excuse me. Make sure you drink water. But it's insane. It's insane. And right now, we have a serious issue in New York State where we are severely understaffed because of a lot of different issues, including unemployment, the hiring freezes, and all types of stuff that happened over COVID. The fact that a lot of classes were taken back from being during that time and stuff like that. And we're missing a lot of nurses and doctors and stuff like that because of that. And a lot of them were like, to hell with this. I might not be able to make a living doing this, so I'm going to leave. So that happened too. So you've got people that are should be there that are not there, and new people that would be there but are not there. So our healthcare system in New York State is currently conveniently understaffed, but they're forcing our healthcare workers to all be vaccinated. They're mandating it. Now, this is concerning to me for the simple fact that many people have a serious religious concern about this. What do they say? Is it serious and true or serious and passionate? Something, something. What's the wording that you have to say for a religious exemption? Do you know, Austin?
I don't off the top of my head.
So yeah, man, sincere and true, sincere and whatever, precise or pristine or whatever it is. Somebody figure out what it is and post on the chat what it is for me. But yeah, it's really crazy because a lot of people really feel strongly about this for religious reasons. And many feel very strongly about it for personal health reasons. And I believe that they deserve the exemptions that they should have, and they should not be restricted from participating at work or participating in society because you told me and you told everyone else that the vaccines were going to be voluntary. This doesn't look very voluntary. You told me that you weren't going to stop people from going to work and you weren't going to stop people from being able to work at jobs without having the vaccine. That's what you told me. You told us that. You told everyone that. And now they're doing exactly the opposite. And I said, hey, they're full of malarkey. This is what's going to happen. And then it did. People said that was not what was going to happen. And then it did. It happened. It's still happening. What's going on is wrong. What we got here? At a time when facilities are already understaffed. Yeah, it's really, really, really concerning what's going on right now. And please support our healthcare workers in New York State. Anybody that you know in New York State that's a healthcare worker, that may be going through extra stress because of the understaffing, or maybe going through extra stress because they are not very particular in taking the vaccine, please give them some extra support. Even if you're a very strong, passionate believer in the vaccine, give those people your support because they've been working this whole time without it in some of the most serious conditions, and they've been perfectly all right till this point. They will be okay, and they love and care about you and our country as much as everyone else does. And this is why both vaccinated and unvaccinated people should be able to live together in everywhere exactly they are, their houses, their neighborhoods, they're everywhere. Like they should not be what would you say? Discouraging people from unifying and being united, but they are. They are bringing back segregation and making it great again. And just talking on that, switching off, we got Oregon's governor out here. Well, not out here, but in Oregon, and she took back the requirements for reading, writing, and math. Okay, to be required to graduate high school. That's insanity. That's insanity. Like, aren't those the 3 R's? Aren't you supposed to go to school and learn reading, writing, and arithmetic? I mean, maybe that's a little older than most people because it's way older than me. That's from like the 30s. But I mean, it's crazy. That's the whole idea of schools. Like, I mean, you're going to make it so what are those kids going to do? Like, they're functionally illiterate. Like, what are they going to do? Like, I hope that they can get trades, but you usually need to know how to read or write or do math to even get a trade. So I don't understand. But that just shows you where government will slack in one department, but they'll overreach in a completely different one. Now what's insane to me is that China is out here trying to tell us that the coronavirus came from what is it, Fort Dix, I believe, somewhere over here, because we have a biological lab there. Well, they didn't say that we released, they said that this lab should be investigated because of all the stuff that should go on. They basically implied it and tried to lean it on us when we know now you can say it on the internet that it probably came from Wuhan. You couldn't used to say that on the internet, they'd shut you down. Isn't that a shame? That's a freaking shame. You can't say that the virus that came from Wuhan came from Wuhan. And now all of a sudden you can. Can you believe that they banned that? It's just beyond me that people aren't concerned. Like, I know a lot of people out there feel very strongly about the vaccine either way. Okay. But that's not the important part. The important part is our rights, our liberties, and our freedoms. And nobody more than the vaccinated people should be up in arms. I don't understand how the vaccinated people are not marching in the streets demanding that they stop all of these things, which they're telling them need to be done at one time. And then at another time, they don't need to do it. And then if they don't do what they said the first time that they told you that they weren't going to have you do, that you weren't ever going to have to do, that now you're going to go and be shut down. It's a ridiculous thing. Ridiculous thing. Like, they strip away your liberties and freedoms on a daily basis. Now Fauci is like, well, there aren't going to be any more lockdowns, but everybody should need a booster shot. But he lies. Not to say that he lies, but just to say that he lies. He lies because the science changes. Right, Austin? The science changes. I hear the science changes. That happens. Does it
Oh,
change,
sure, of
Austin?
course.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So it's not a lie, but it's the science changing. Okay. So let's not call it a lie. Just call it the science is changing. Try that with your girlfriend next time, Austin.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I heard the science changed on, condoms.
You know? So, I mean, if the science changes so often, I kind of feel like going to the bank, be like, they're like, sir, your account has X amount of money in there. Oh, no. The science changed on that. It says I have $257 million. So it should be in there. Just go back and fix that. Fix that for me. The science says so. Come on, man. Can we have some sort of a standard for science in which it can be questioned? Like, science is supposed to be questioned. There's supposed to be able to be open debate about science. If it's not able to have open debate about it and you're shutting stuff down, that's not science anymore. Okay? That's not science at all. That's a bunch of people talking and telling you what they want you to believe is true. I think they call stuff like that propaganda. So it's really concerning. It's really concerning. Like, I'm not able to say it enough times. I'm not able to say it enough times because it concerns me, and it should be very concerning again. And I'm going to keep coming back to this. Anybody that's vaccinated should really have a problem with the government pushing these mandates. They should have a real serious problem with the government restricting them and making them wear masks and social distance. They should have a real serious problem with the government keep changing and moving the bar on them. They should have a real serious problem with the government not doing what the hell did they tell them that they're going to do in the first place. Whatever happened to 14 days to quelling the curve or whatever it was, curbing the curb? I don't know, man. What was it? Shoot. Flattening the curve. There we go.
There it is.
Flattening the curve. Jiminy Jam. I mean, what is really, really going on? You know, the flattening the curve for 14 days turned into what? 18 months almost. How
More than that,
more
isn't
than
it?
that, isn't it? Yes. Yes. So, I mean, I don't even have the ability to talk into it the way I would like to because they'd probably deplatform us on YouTube. But the fact of the matter is very simple. The people that should have the most concern about their privacy going away are vaccinated individuals because, like we talked about earlier, with the Chinese collecting all this data on our citizens to be used to predict their patterns and movements. Now imagine that the American government has that. Imagine that the United States government is keeping track of you at all points, that they're tracking where you go, who you go with, how often you stay there, how many times you go there, when you go, what time of day it is. Is it humid? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it bold? When are you going there? Are you going there for nighty night or are you going there for nocturnal activities? Like, why are you where you are when you are? And now combine that with different analysts and combine it with what do you call it? Learning algorithms for machine learning and stuff like that. They'll be able to predict what could influence you and what could move you. And if you really think that the United States government or any government should have the basically the power of God on their side to do whatever they want and convince you to go in any direction that they want, you should be extremely concerned. Your data and your metadata and your privacy data is all extremely important. And now they want you to use a passport to go to all the restaurants and scan all the restaurants so they know who's with you, who's around you, how many people are there, and all of these things. And nobody's asking questions. And they're like, well, wait, what about my data privacy? And how often do we have data privacy leaks in our country that are from foreign companies or from foreign entities? And that's every day. That's an everyday affair. We've seen the hacks on all of our pipelines and the meat and everything that I mentioned earlier. We have to understand now, willingly giving all of this level of data to the government, they could be like, I know exactly how to put that person in traffic on Fifth Street at 4 o'clock and 46 seconds. Like it sounds funny, but it is that precise. Like you guys are like, trust science, believe in science. Oh, I trust and believe in science. That's why I'm concerned. Okay, that's why you should be too. If you trust and believe in science, understand that that overwhelming amount of data is extremely dangerous in the hands of our government. Now, just think of when everybody was very upset when Edward Snowden came out, and Edward Snowden was like, the NSA is watching everybody all the time. Well, guess what? Everybody already knew that. But when he said it, everybody's like, oh, no, you don't say. And that was a serious, serious thing. And now everybody's just giving up their freedoms and liberties willy nilly after he warned everybody. And you loved him so much. I wanted him to be extradited from Russia so he could be executed, but you loved him. You loved him. I never loved him. You loved him. And you don't see the issue with your privacy here. I want you to think very sternly about your privacy. I want you to think very sternly about your civil liberties and how they're getting taken away. I want you to think very sternly about what's going on with the schools right now and with all the different teachings that actually have nothing to do with reading, writing, and arithmetic. I want you to think about everything that was in this country that used to make us great, that has put us in a position where we've fallen so far behind on everything like basic reading and writing and math and science and everything that we're behind all the other nations in the world. We are not where we need to be in this new Genesis. It's unacceptable. We need to step forward. We need to remember to believe in ourselves, believe in our country, and stand up for your civil liberties. Okay? I want you to know that now is the time to stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Okay? So, you guys can catch us next week at Monday at 6 p.m. on the We the People podcast network. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll have plenty of more stuff coming for you. I'm gonna start up a YouTube channel in offshoot of this, just for you guys, because we always have so much to talk about, and I love you guys so much. So that's coming up. I'll announce that on my Facebook page and stuff like that. So look for that in the coming days. And we've got a merch store. It didn't get up last week, but hey, we've got some more stuff coming up soon for that merch store for you guys. Check this out. Made in America. All right. But anyway, you guys be great, be blessed, be well, and God bless America.